We think it's atrocious that our military is being used as political pawns in a political game, and we're going to change that.
This belongs to the people, and we're here to show our solidarity with them. That this is not a tool to be used against them in a political fight.
It is shameful that the administration is barricading and trying to shut down the memorials. Weeks ago, the House of Representatives passed funding to open every memorial in this country, and President Obama and the Democrats are blocking it. They're trying to play games, and the American people know they're trying to play games.
So all that is a huge crowd pushed away barriers to gain access to the open-air World War II memorial, which the administration has kept closed under the government shutdown. Quite a way to spend your Sunday morning, but guess who did it? Greta Van Susteren got up early to catch all the action, and she just reminded me, in the rain as well. Good to see you, Greta.
Nice to see you, Gretchen.
All right, so what enticed you to get up out of bed on your day off and go on down there?
That's our business. We're in the news business, and I got word late Friday night. I heard that Governor Palin may be coming from New Jersey down here to Washington to join Senator Lee and Senator Ted Cruz at the memorial. I knew there was a protest that was scheduled for Sunday morning, so I thought, I live here, I have cameras, I have a crew, and we want to go after the news. So we got up early, all of us on the record here, went down in the rain, as all the protesters were in the rain too. We waited for them to arrive. All three arrived together. We did as we always do to everybody, is we stick cameras in their faces and microphones under their mouths, and we asked them questions, said, why are you here? And universally, all three of them said they were there to support the troops because many in the military, maybe not everybody, but many in the military feel dissed by what has happened since there's a shutdown on October 1st. So the three walked over. They were warmly received by the crowd. Each one spoke, and then afterwards, it was interesting, Governor Palin went off to the Lincoln Memorial. Senator Cruz, I think, went back to the Senate. Senator Lee was on his way to church, and then he was going to go to the Senate because it's opening later in the afternoon. And then there were some who remained and spoke. And then there was sort of another splinter part of the group that marched onto the White House, and that was the more bellicose group who were calling for the impeachment of the president and were more forceful. And, of course, those are the ones you oftentimes see in the media. But that was essentially the morning. But I would tell you, earlier in the day, they pushed down these barricades. Yeah. These barricades have been so offensive. And I was on a bus with last week with World War II vets. They laughed at the thought that the U.S. government thought it could stop our U.S. vets from seeing their own memorial. So it was quite a morning in Washington.
Well, Greta, how did you feel about it personally? I mean, did it make a difference to you? Because sometimes we report the news from afar. Today, I'm sitting in New York City. You were there in Washington, D.C. How did it change the way in which you see this story, if at all?
You know, actually, I don't know if it did. You know, I've covered so many protests. I used to represent protesters when I was a lawyer. I've seen everything. My clients have been nuns who have changed themselves to the White House fence. I've had clients who have been taken down from the trees in Lafayette Square by the Secret Service. I've seen window pane acid sold at protests against wars. I've pretty much seen it all. What I always like, though, Gretchen, is I really like the fact that in this country, if you have a gripe, you can go down on the mall and make yourself heard. What is rather distasteful, though, is that the U.S. government, and this is horribly distasteful to all Americans, I think, or to many Americans, is that we would barricade the memorial to those who have fought so that we have the First Amendment to go down and express a gripe about our government.
No doubt.
And the whole idea, that should have been the last memorial that should be closed. They should turn off the lights every place in the nation, but, you know, leave our military alone because they're the ones that make sure we even have that right.
No doubt. Said so well. Greta Van Susteren, of course, you're going to have much more on this later today when she anchors On the Record at its new time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So glad you could be part of the real story today, Greta. Take care.
Thank you, Gretchen.